What's up everybody, Dan with Carli Suspension here, bringing you a video that a lot of guys have been waiting for. What's different on the 2020 Super Duty? As you can see, good news for us. Everything bolts on to a 2020. So what was the main difference? What was the holdup? Why did it take this long to get this stuff done? Our customers rock. They've been buying our suspension systems since the 2020 started landing, just saying everything looked the same, bolting them on and reporting back to us that it worked. Obviously, as a manufacturer putting out this type of information, we had to wait till we got one in the shop to go ahead and confirm it. So the changes that we basically found, the 2020 Plus platform is identical to a 2017 to 19, other than the fact that Ford shrunk the block in the rear from about 3 inches to about 2 inches, and up front they shortened the loaded height of the coil spring by about 1 inch. Additionally, they made a couple changes to facilitate that. Where you used to see those big foamy Ford bump stops that they had in the front end, they're now coming with a nearly solid Dodge-like bump stop because they shortened the travel in the front end so much. I mean, you're lowering a straight axle truck. What that's doing is bringing the axle closer to the frame. Unless you're notching the frame out, which they didn't, there's no way to get more travel out of that, especially with the big oil pan, the diesel motor sitting up there. I mean, there's not a lot of room where you can make this up. What does this mean? We're going to sell more Carli kits. Now these trucks have 1 inch of travel before they hit the factory bump stop. That means things that you would normally float over, even in a factory suspension, you're now going to wonder what the hell that noise was and why it felt like your truck's coming apart over a small culvert in the road. So good news for us. But either way, the better news is that our products don't need to change. They will give 1 inch more than the stated lift height for the 17 to 19, so the overall height result will be the same when compared with the 17 to 19. Same springs, same mounting points, everything bolts in, same bolt sizes. This truck that we built had every single option. We had the opportunity to put every single product on this truck, and we can now confirm that everything fits thanks to this customer. But you will get a truck that sits as tall as a 17 to 19, so all we have to change are the stated lift heights. If you go on our website and you go to the 2020 section, you'll see where we changed all the lift heights accordingly. What used to be a 2.5 inch lift, it's an identical base kit, identical option configuration, but for the 2020 Plus, it's listed as a 3.5 and a 5.5 instead of a 2.5 and a 4.5 inch lift. Now, the tremor package sits a little bit higher than the standard F250, F350. We'll address those when we get one in to measure it. But we haven't done that at this time. So be on the lookout for that in the future. To address the truck in the video here, we took this customer's 2020 F350, threw on pretty much every configuration we could think to throw on. The front spring, rear spring, add a pack, full spring packs, measured everything out just to make sure all was well. And in the end, everything fit perfectly as we've already alluded to. So what did this customer leave with? Because everybody wants to run over what we've got on this build. It's a 4.5 inch from a 17 to 19 that again is now a 5.5 inch on the 2020 platform. So we went to a 5.5 inch pin top series lift, and as usual with the customers like this that get the deal because they drop the truck off for prototype, this customer threw our entire catalog at it. So in the front end, it includes the entire pin top base system. We've got the coil springs, the Crown Performance brake lines, our bump stop drops up front, the adjustable track bar, the King shocks, and you'll notice that the King shocks say Carli and then Edition by King. So we've got our new reservoir stickers that highlight that this is a product that King Off-Road Racing Shocks builds to our specifications. The best of every world. You get the best product out there, custom tuned, custom pistons, stainless steel shock shafts, custom spec to a heavy-duty truck instead of a buggy, right? It's not just a standard 10-inch travel that we throw in there, so you're getting the best of the best all the way around. You've got our radius arm drop brackets, and then option-wise, we've got our fabricated radius arms, our front differential guard, again, the high mount steering stabilizer, and the torsion sway bar. Most notably, the torsion sway bar is that is a newer option. We did release that relatively recently, and it addresses the most neglected spring rate on any of these heavy-duty trucks, and that is the front sway bar. It gives you almost an IFS-like feel on the front by freeing up that rigid, immobile factory sway bar and allowing some side-to-side movement of the axle without rocking the entire truck. I mean, anybody who drives a heavy-duty truck with a factory sway bar is familiar with that feeling of, knocking your head against the A-pillar when you're going in an off-camber driveway. It has a tendency to really control the truck. Well, this sway bar allows a little bit of fudge room side to side, so it can absorb small things like manhole covers without getting that reverberation throughout the frame. In the rear of this truck, you've got the full progressive leaf spring pack, just our standard full springs that we've been running in the 17 to 19s for quite a while. These eliminate the block, provide a much better ride quality at a reduced payload down to about a light 3/4 ton. Deaver doesn't spec a actual numerical value on the payload, they just call it a light 3/4 ton, so we say the same. And then you'll also notice our long travel airbags back there to support the load lost by the leaf springs. Additionally, a lot of guys don't consider this, they allow rear ride height adjustability as far as height is concerned when you're loaded. Even if you maintain capacity but you level the truck, so let's say you do the Attapack and our block configuration, then you throw your trailer on, you have factory capacity, but instead of sagging a couple inches down to level, you're sagging a couple inches below level because this lift will actually level your truck when you're unloaded. The airbags, when you sag to that deficit because of the reduced payload capacity, air them back up, and the thing tows perfectly well going down the road. So huge benefit for those types of guys that are hauling and want the benefit of the better unloaded ride quality that our full progressive leaf spring packs provide. Those are of course rounded off in the rear with our Crown Performance brake lines to match the ones in the front. The King 2.5 Carli spec shocks that are remote reservoir are mounted up underneath to the bed cross members, clearing this guy's factory fifth wheel prep package. Everything's good to go in a nice neat little package there. So that concludes what's on this truck, and everybody wants to know what are the wheel and tire specs on these builds to know what's going to fit and what's not going to fit. Well, a lot of guys are running bigger tires on these trucks, the 40s, the 38s. This guy went with the tried and true 37-13-5 Toyo Mud Terrain, and he went with a perfect wheel. It's a Method with 475 backspace. It's 8.5 inches wide, 0 offset. These things tuck every which way that you can cycle them. No worries there. Everything clears. So we're happy that we got the opportunity. Super thankful that this customer dropped off this truck and allowed us to test everything on it. And finally, we were able to sign off on this 2020 platform. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to keep seeing these videos, and we'll catch you on the next one.